You know that quiet, charged silence just before a storm breaks? Not a literal one, obviously, but a storm of reckoning and revenge?
Hmm.
That's precisely where we're dropping into today, right into the heart of, well, one of the greatest stories ever told.
Definitely.
We're diving deep into excerpts from Book XX of Homer's epic, The Odyssey.
And this isn't just, some dusty old text. It's really a masterclass in building tension, revealing character, both human and divine, and just like meticulously foreshadowing this dramatic, inevitable climax.
Right, so our mission for you in this deep dive.
Our mission is really to help you grasp how every detail, even in this seemingly small slice of the epic, works to set the stage for Odysseus's final violent confrontation with the suitors.
Okay.
You want to unearth his inner turmoil, his wife's profound despair, and those really potent omens that signal this huge, inevitable change is coming.
So we're extracting those crucial insights that make this part so incredibly powerful. That meticulous stage setting you mentioned, it plunges us right into Odysseus's world, doesn't it? Let's start with him then. Still disguised as a beggar.
Right, he's bedding down in the forecourt. On an ox hide, some fleeces, Eurynome throws a blanket over him. Simple enough.
But his mind isn't quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. We learn pretty quickly that even sleep can't really quiet his restless mind.
No, and what's really revealing here is the nature of his internal conflict. He's lying awake, and his thoughts are just consumed with how to finally deal with these suitors.
Yeah.
He sees the serving women, the ones who've been, going to bed with the suitors.
Right, the ones who've been collaborating, essentially.
Yeah, leaving the palace all cheerfully.
Yeah.
And this primal rage just surges inside him. He's completely torn.
Torn how?
Why don't you just unleash his fury right then?
Yeah.
Spring on them and kill each one, as Homer puts it. Or, play the long game. Strategically delay, let them lie. This one more time for the last and latest time.
It's such a powerful glimpse into his mind, showing both that explosive anger, but also this incredible self-control he has.
Absolutely. And Homer uses some incredibly vivid, almost animalistic imagery to get this across.
He does. His heart, the text tells us, is growling inside like a bitch, facing an unknown man, stands over her callow puppies, and growls and rages to fight. That's intense.
It really is. And Odysseus even has to, talk to himself, chastise his own heart, bear up, you have had worse to endure before this. And then he brings up the Cyclops.
Ah, yes, when the irresistible Cyclops ate up my strong companions. That reference is so potent, isn't it? What does that tell us about him right now?
Well, it connects his current struggle directly to his epic past, doesn't it? This isn't just some new problem. It's another test of that same resilience that let him survive absolute horrors like the Cyclops.
Right.
His twisting and turning described like a cook tossing a paunch pudding over a blazing fire. It just perfectly illustrates this, simmering, contained intensity.
Okay. And it's precisely then, in this moment of internal wrestling, that Athene descends.
Exactly. The goddess appears looking like a woman and asks him, why are you still awake? Your family's safe inside.
But Odysseus, his mind is already, 5 steps ahead, isn't it? His concern isn't just the raw act of revenge.
No, it's highly practical. It's the how. How can he, alone against many, actually lay hands on the shameless suitors? And crucially, how does he escape afterwards, even if he succeeds in killing them?
It's pure strategy, not just emotion.
Precisely. And Athene's response, it's this incredibly powerful reassurance of divine backup. She sort of gently chides him, calls him stubborn man,
Huh, yeah.
and reminds him that his trust in her, a goddess, should be way beyond any trust he'd place in a mortal companion. I am a god, she says flat out, and through it all I keep watch over you in every endeavor of yours.
That's quite the promise.
It is. And the ultimate reassurance comes when she says, basically, even if 50 battalions surrounded you, even then you could still drive away their cattle and sheep, don't worry.
Wow. Okay, so divine endorsement, loud and clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, she just scatters slumber over his eyelids. It underscores the inevitability of what's coming.
So Odysseus finally gets some rest. But just as he drifts off, the narrative does this brilliant shift, focusing on Penelope. And her night, well, it's just as tormented.
Oh, completely. She wakes up from her own grief, crying out, praying to Artemis, and she's actually wishing for death.
Explicitly, isn't it? By an arrow, or just to be swept away by a storm wind, where the recurrent ocean empties his stream. It's incredibly bleak.
It is. And her prayer isn't just, random sadness. It's a profound statement about how unbearable her life has become. She even brings up that tragic story of the daughters of Pandareos,
Right, whose parents were killed by the god.
leaving them vulnerable, despite having
Yeah.
divine gifts. And just as Aphrodite was trying to sort out marriages for them, boom, storm winds carry them off to the furies of the spirits of vengeance.
Dark stuff.
And Penelope wishes for something similar for herself, either vanishing like that or just being struck down by Artemis. She'd rather meet Odysseus, even under the hateful earth, than have to please the mind of an inferior husband.
That really shows a soul pushed to its absolute limit, doesn't it? Where oblivion seems better than the alternative.
Definitely. And the depth of her sorrow gets even clearer with this heartbreaking detail she shares about a dream. Or maybe not a dream.
Oh, that part. For on this very night there was one who lay by me, like him as he was when he went with the army, so that my own heart was happy. I thought it was no dream, but a waking vision.
That must just twist the knife.
It really does. That fleeting false hope just intensifies the anguish. But her cries, born of the sorrow, they don't go unheard.
Odysseus hears her.
Yeah, he wakes at dawn, hears her voice, he rolls up his bedding, and immediately prays to Zeus. And he's specific. He asks for a clear omen from inside the house and also an outside portent.
He needs confirmation. A divine green light, basically.
Totally. A signal for the path ahead. And Zeus doesn't waste any time. He sends this powerful thunderclap high above the clouds. Odysseus is happy, feels validated.
Right. But the second omen,
Hmm.
this one comes from a really unexpected source.
Yeah, tell us about this mill woman. Who is she and what makes her words so chilling?
Well, she's described as the weakest of the women, still grinding meal in the early hours while everyone else is asleep. Her sheer exhaustion somehow makes her a conduit for something bigger.
Okay.
She stops her mill, hears the thunder, and prays aloud, acknowledging it's a portent for someone. And her specific prayer is just, wow.
What does she say?
She says, on this day let the suitors take, for the last and latest time, their desirable feasting in the halls of Odysseus.
Oh my.
Yeah, for it is they who have broken my knees with heart-sore labor as I grind the meal for them. Let this be their final feasting.
Whoa, that's direct.
Incredibly direct. And Odysseus hears this ominous speech, and it just hardens his resolve. He's convinced now he would punish the sinners. It's not just a sign anymore. It's like a curse from the oppressed, delivered by the heavens.
Okay, so the tension is just ratcheting up as morning breaks in the palace. Telemachus gets up, and his first thought is for the stranger, right?
Yeah, he asks Eurycleia how Odysseus the beggar was treated. And he voices this worry about his mother Penelope. Impulsively, she favors the wrong man. It really highlights the chaos the suitors have caused, even in family dynamics.
True.
Eurycleia explains Odysseus actually preferred to sleep outside, like someone forever wretched and without fortune. But then the focus shifts quickly to the day's practicalities.
Right, the festival preparations.
Eurycleia is ordering the maids, sweep, clean, put out the fancy purple coverlets, wash tables, fetch water, because the suitors will arrive very early, since this is the public festival.
So it's the surface level tidiness, getting ready for a party.
Exactly. Well, underneath, everything is rotten. 20 women go to the spring, others are busy inside. The stage is being set, both for a feast and, well, for something much darker.
And as these preparations happen, we meet these key figures who really show the divisions in the household. First up is Eumaeus.
Ah, good old Eumaeus, the loyal swineherd. He rides with 3 pigs for the feast, greets Odysseus warmly, even in disguise, and openly complains about the suitors' outrage. His loyalty is just rock solid.
A stark contrast to the next guy who shows up.
Oh, absolutely. Immediately after Eumaeus comes Melanthios, the goat herd. He brings goats for the suitors' dinner, and he just lays into Odysseus with insults.
What does he say?
Something like, stranger, are you still here pestering the gentleman with your begging? Get outside. Just vile stuff.
And Odysseus.
Doesn't say a word, just shook his head in silence, deeply devising evils. That silence is louder than any retort, isn't it?
Yeah.
It perfectly shows the loyalty versus the opportunistic betrayal happening right there in Odysseus' own house.
Definitely. Then we get the third herdsman, Philoctetes, the cow herd. He brings a cow and some goats. How does he react?
Totally different from Melanthios. He shows immediate pity for Odysseus, even in rags. He somehow senses nobility there, says he looks like a king and a lord in appearance.
Interesting intuition.
Yeah, and he mourns for Odysseus, remembers being put in charge of the cattle as a boy, how they've thrived. But he's also struggling internally.
How so?
He actually admits he's thinking about leaving, taking his cattle to serve another king, because things are so bad here. But then he feels that would be cowardly, especially with Telemachus still around.
So he stays out of loyalty and hope.
Exactly. He holds on to this hope that Odysseus may come back and cause the suitors to scatter. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How much does that personal allegiance weigh against basic self-preservation? His choice really highlights the kind of moral integrity Homer values.
And Odysseus picks up on this loyalty, doesn't he? He offers him something.
He does. Sensing this duck loyalty, he gives Philœtius a kind of partial revelation. He swears this great oath by Zeus, by the table of friendship, by his own hearth, saying, Odysseus will come home again while you are still here.
Yeah.
And with your own eyes, you can watch him killing the suitors.
Wow. A promise disguised as prophecy.
Exactly. And it works. It solidifies the bond, turns their hope into conviction. Both Philœtius and Eumaeus then pray for Odysseus' return. Their faith is this shining counterpoint to the sheer arrogance we're about to see from the suitors.
Okay, so while these loyal guys are having this moment, the suitors are, well, they're plotting.
Yep. Busy compacting their plan of death and destruction for Telemachus. Same old story with them. But again, divine intervention.
An omen.
A big one. A high-flying eagle clutching a tremulous pigeon appears on their left side. Bad sign.
And do they get it?
One of them does. And Phenomos, who is often shown as slightly more reasonable than the others, interprets it correctly. This plan to murder Telemachus will not ever be brought to completion.
Smart move to listen to that.
Yeah, so they decide, wisely for once, to just ditch the murder plot for now and focus on feasting instead.
Which brings us to the feast itself. This is where their arrogance really peaks, right?
It absolutely culminates here. They swagger into the hall, sacrifice animals, and the servants, loyal and disloyal alike, are serving them, unknowingly serving up their own doom, really. Eumaeus pours wine, Philœtius serves bread, even Melanthius pours wine.
And Telemachus makes a stand.
A big one. He deliberately seats Odysseus, the beggar, inside the well-constructed hall by the stone threshold, and gives him an equal portion of food, a clear statement.
And he doesn't stop there. He speaks up, really asserting himself now.
He does, with this newfound authority. He says something like, I myself will defend you against the blows and insults of all the suitors. This house belongs to Odysseus. He acquired it. This makes it mine.
Bold words.
Very. He warns them directly against insults, saying there may be a quarrel and fight between us. And the suitors are genuinely shocked. They bit their lips in amazement.
But that amazement doesn't last long.
No. It quickly turns back to sheer nastiness. Cadicippus, who Homer calls versed in villainy, one of the main suitors, he decides to give Odysseus a lovely guest gift.
Oh, I remember this. It's not a gift, is it?
Far from it. He throws an ox hoof straight at Odysseus.
Unbelievable. What does Odysseus do?
With incredible agility and that iron self-control, he just avoided this by an easy shift of his head, dodges it. And Homer gives us this amazing line. Odysseus smiled in his anger, a very sardonic smile.
Ooh, chills. That hidden fury. The hoof hits the wall.
Right. It shows the suitor's absolute vulgarity and Odysseus's tightly controlled rage.
But Telemachus' rage is not contained.
Not at all. He completely unleashes on Ctesippus. Fiercely. He basically says, you're lucky you missed him. I would have run you through with my spear, and your father would be planning your funeral, not your wedding.
Wow, he's really come into his own.
He really has. He explicitly states his droth. I now notice all and know of it, better and worse alike, but before now I was only an infant. He's morally outraged. He says he'd rather die than keep watching their shameful activities, beating guests, messing with the serving women.
He's had enough.
Completely. Agelaus tries to calm things down, advises Telemachus and Penelope to just accept Odysseus isn't coming back, tells Penelope to marry the best man with the most gifts. Standard suitor talk.
And Telemachus.
His refusal is firm. Absolutely firm. He clarifies he's not stopping his mother's marriage. She can marry who she wants, but I am ashamed to drive her unwilling out. The strict word. His integrity, even under all this pressure, is remarkable.
Okay, and then things get weird. Really weird.
Yeah, this is where Pallas Athene steps in directly again. She stirred up uncontrollable laughter and addled their thinking.
So the suitors start laughing.
Hysterically. But it's terrifying, unnatural. Homer says their jaws were no longer their own. The meat they're eating suddenly looks like a mess of blood. Their eyes are bursting full of tears and their laughter. Chillingly, it sounded like lamentation.
Divine mockery. Psychological torture before the physical stuff starts.
Exactly. It's divine madness poured right onto them. And into this madness steps Theoclymenos, the prophet who arrived with Telemachus.
The seer. What does he see?
He describes this horrifying, incredibly vivid vision. He says, "Your heads and faces and the knees underneath you are shrouded in night and darkness. A sound of wailing is broken out. Your cheeks are covered with tears and the walls bleed.
Good grief.
And the fine supporting pillars. All the forecourt is huddled with ghosts, flocking down to the underworld. The sun has perished out of the sky, and a foul mist has come over." It's a terrifying, almost cinematic prophecy of their bloody end.
You'd think that might give them pause.
You'd think, but no. Predictably, blinded by arrogance, they just mock him. Macho's jokes about getting him an escort to the marketplace since everything here is darkness, or maybe selling him to Sicilians for a good price.
They just completely dismiss this incredibly dire warning.
Utterly. But Theoclymenos is calm. He rejects their mockery, states with absolute certainty, "I have eyes and I have ears. I see the evil coming upon you, and not one of the suitors will escape." And then he just leaves.
His parting words are just a chilling, ignored certainty.
Precisely. And meanwhile, Penelope is listening from her chair nearby. She knows, she understands that this meal they're preparing, this sweet and staying feast, it could not be a meal that was more unpleasant than this one.
Why?
Because, as Homer tells us, such was to be the attack that the powerful man and the goddess would make on them, for they had first begun the wrongdoing. She knows this feast is truly their last supper.
So wrapping this up, what does this deep dive really show us? We've gone through Penelope's deep grief, the loyalty of servants like Eumaeus and Feluccius.
Contrasted with the disloyalty of others like Melanthius.
Right, and the suitors' escalating arrogance, all of it punctuated by these powerful divine omens and chilling prophecies that they just ignore.
Yeah. The stage isn't just being set for a fight, it's being meticulously prepared for a violent, divinely approved reckoning.
This look into Book XX really highlights that intricate dance, doesn't it, between human will, human choices, and this powerful divine intervention.
It absolutely does. It shows how the cumulative actions of people, both the noble ones and the cruel ones, build towards this inescapable fate, especially when the gods themselves are actively involved, nudging things along, manipulating minds towards that preordained end.
It's a powerful thought, and it leaves us with something to consider, maybe. Think about the nature of premonition in this book. What does it really mean when Homer describes laughter that sounds like crying, or implies blood staining a feast before any violence has actually started?
Yeah. How might that human tendency, the one to dismiss inconvenient truths, to ignore those really dire warnings, how might that ultimately seal our own fate? Not just in ancient epics, but, maybe in life itself.